Now, a political war has erupted over Padayatra that the Congress party in Karnataka has carried out all the way from Mekedatu to Bengaluru. Not only has the party defied COVID curfew imposed in the state, but no COVID norms were followed in the Padayatra, no masks, no social distancing, and heavy crowding was reported. Let's have a look.
Without water, there is no life. This is for our Bangalore, this is for the farmers of Karnataka.
Politics, face-off, and now a Padyatra Nataka. Brazen defiance of weekend curfew orders as COVID cases skyrocket. A massive political war has erupted over the Mekedatu Dam row. Led by Karnataka Congress Chief D.K. Shivakumar and Leader of Opposition Siddaramaiah. The Congress in Karnataka kick-started its 10-day-long Padyatra from Mekedatu to Bengaluru, aggressively pushing the long-standing demand of implementing the Mekedatu project across the Kaveri River.
Without water, there is no life. This is for our Bangalore, this is for the farmers of Karnataka. Karnataka, two political parties. They want to kill this project. They want to kill the people of Karnataka. Bangalore is not a city in India. It is a city of the world.
The COVID-timed Padyatra deemed politically motivated by Chief Minister Bommai.
ಸಮ್ಮಿಶ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿ.ಕೆ. ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅವರು ನೀರಾವರಿ ಸಚಿವರಿದ್ದರು. ಅವಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ, ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಕಳೆದ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕೂಡ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಧಾನಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಏಕಾಏಕಿ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹುತೇಕವಾಗಿ ಅವರು
The Padyatra with the theme Namma Neeru Namma Hakku, which means our water, our right, began at the Sangama, the confluence of Kaveri and Arkavati rivers, covering a distance of over 100 kilometers.
The Congress over here is starting this in order to put pressure on the government, stating that the government has not been putting pressure on the central government to go ahead with this. The centre and the state, in fact, Chief Minister Bommai has very clearly stated that what the Congress is doing over here is nothing but political.
When questioned over the need to organize a Padyatra at a time when Karnataka witnesses an unprecedented COVID spike, Shivakumar made a bizarre claim.
They are just creating, they want the number, they are hiking the number, no COVID here. Simply they are hiking the number. Who are coming, they are just harassing people. They are collecting more than 3,000 rupees per visitor who is entering Karnataka. This is a curfew, this is not a COVID curfew. This is a BJP curfew.
The Congress has been demanding that the Bommai government implement the Mekedatu reservoir project to ensure water for Bengaluru residents. With large number of people gathering and violating all COVID protocols, all eyes are on the Bommai government on the action taken against these violations. With Nolan Pinto from Mekedatu, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let me quickly introduce our panelists. Aishwarya Mahadev, Congress spokesperson joining us. S. Prakash, BJP spokesperson with us. Nolan Pinto, who's been extensively covering the reality on ground. Nolan, I'll start with you. How many people approximately did you witness as part of the Padayatra today, led by D.K. Shivakumar?
Well, Nabila, in fact, initially we thought it was about 5,000, but when we spoke to some of the senior leaders over there and also the once organizing it, they tell us that anywhere between 15 to 25,000 people floating, it's a floating crowd, would have been present over there. Now, initially, when the government had actually told the Congress that they should not go ahead with this, we remember the senior leaders stating that only 4 of them would be walking, but that was really not the case. What we're told is this, where people were not against this particular Padayatra, that just that the timing was not correct. Here you have cases surging in the state, 12,000 today. across the state.
Well, Nolan, and that is our only concern. They could carry out a Padayatra at any point they wish, but this is putting literally citizens' lives at risk. Here is the Congress Chief D.K. Shivkumar, who also says openly to the media there that there is no COVID at all and that the government is hyping numbers. Take us through the number of cases. In the last 24 hours, how many cases have been reported of COVID-19, Nolan?
Well, in fact, in the evening, for the past 24 hours, 12,000 is the number of cases reported or registered in Karnataka. Yesterday, it was about close to 9,000 cases. We have seen a gradual increase of 2,000, 3,000 cases per day across the state.
That's shocking. 3,000 cases, a spike of 3,000 cases in just 24 hours. That should be enough to tell the Congress party there that if they want to carry out a Padayatra, do it at a later date. Mekedatu project is supposed to be, in fact, it was supposed to be implemented for long now. Hold on to it for a little longer, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then come out with a massive protest. Aishwarya Mahadev, here you see Congress workers there on ground, barely wearing masks, barely maintaining any social distancing. Your own chief, D.K. Shivkumar, openly says that there's no COVID. Isn't it irresponsible behavior?
Good evening, Nabila. I am at the place where the Padyatra is ending now. I've been there from the morning and I've seen for most part of it, except for the beginning when we just flagged off the Padyatra, there was a little bit of crowding. Otherwise, the entire process has a lot of police, deployment here. The way that they actually handled it is much better. But the one thing, Nabila, when you talk about my leader, D.K. Shivkumar, sir's claims about no COVID, he actually had a press conference where he spoke about the fact that the rate of hospitalization is so minimal. And in Bangalore rural, there are absolutely no cases. The curfew here, whether you like it or not, is an economic hardship on the people of the state, because the way that they've imposed a curfew now was not what they did during the height of the second wave, where they should have probably done it, because the hospitalization and the positivity rate was much higher. But Nabila, the fact still remains that Bangalore is running out of water. Mekedatu has been in dialogue from even before, from let's say 68, or even from the princely state of Mysore and the Madras presidency. And fact remains, however, is that Bangalore is running out of water. D.K. Shivkumar, as Water Resources Minister, had urged and pushed forth the proposal. There was one clearance left, and the BJP government is dragging its leg. And you keep telling us, please delay it, postpone it, while the BJP themselves are still having ground laying functions. They're having all their programs happening. They have their massive rallies happening everywhere. So you cannot obviously say different strokes for different folks in this case.
I'm going to get with that with S. Prakash, but Aishwarya, you did mention economic hardships. Curfews are in place only because cases are on the rise. Maybe if the netas refrain from stepping out and adding to the chaos, an impending lockdown will not be imposed. Here we know that Maharashtra has already said clearly, if daily cases surge beyond 20,000, a lockdown will be imposed. If cases increase, a lockdown is inevitable. Aren't you contributing to a situation like that?
Absolutely not. I think, the BJP would like to have this sort of fear-mongering attitude about what is happening here. But if you look at the Technical Advisory Committee, if you look at the COVID task force, they also a lot of experts, even Ms. Kang, I think of the Niti Aayog, also contradicted the idea of even having a curfew in place in this situation. The fact of the matter is prevention, vaccination, and in terms of hospitalization, there are not too many cases. To try and attribute all of this to us while the government also has been negligent on its own part is absolutely unfair. The BJP obviously wants to take away from our struggle for the people, because this is a bipartisan battle. We have had people...
Aishwarya, it's ironic that the Congress in Uttar Pradesh has called off rallies for the next 2 weeks, citing COVID protocols. It's somehow different for the Congress in Uttar Pradesh and different for the Congress in Karnataka, is it? Isn't there any ruling within your own party to ensure not to contribute to this? And this is a 8-day long Padayatra. Close to 10 days is what Nolan tells me. In 10 days, you're going to be curving through the length and breadth, starting from Mekedatu all the way to Bengaluru. How many villages are you going to be coming into contact with? How many people are you going to be interacting with? How can you ensure that all of them are going to be masked up and maintain social distancing? We know it's not possible. Your visuals from today, and I see those live shots, show a different story. You may assure us as much, but what's on ground is totally different.
You know, Nabila, the fact still remains that those election rallies or the crowded standstill arrangements that you do have are not being allowed there. But this is a fight that we've been asking for a long time. The government here has basically hindered it. We even said if you impose 144, we will have 4 or 5 people walking. But the sort of outpouring of people in support of this movement has been massive. And every single point, whether it is my leader DK Shivakumar sir or whether DK Suresh sir, even the CLP leader Mr. Siddaramaiah, they have all spoken about the fact that masking up and sanitizer and the sort of sanitization protocols here are quite high. Even the police having the bandobast there. Nabila, you will sit and have this argument about let us compare election going states in Karnataka, but that is absolutely unfair because this is the need of the hour for over 100 lakh people in what we want. And the BJP government, besides being a 40% commission government, is basically sitting and dragging its feet on water, which is
well, Aishwarya, what we're trying to say, the intention behind the Padyatra is certainly maybe for the people of Karnataka. We know that there's a dire crisis for drinking water. Bengalurians do not have enough sufficient drinking water. This was due to happen. It's been government after government, consecutive governments who've not been able to implement this project despite much deliberation. So we know the cause is great. We want Mekedatu project to happen. But is it so, is the urgency such that in the midst of a pandemic, while there's a COVID curfew, a weekend curfew that's been imposed by the Bommai government, you defy all those protocols and carry out a massive Padayatra, not with 100, 200 people, 25,000 people. And that's what's shocking. I'll cut to S. Prakash here. Mr. Prakash, what we see here is shocking. Isn't there any action that the Bommai government is going to take? We heard that a notice has been sent, but that's it. You stop at that.
No, repeatedly the government appealed to Mr. DK Shivakumar and the CLP leader Mr. Siddaramaiah to call off the Padayatra. It is an ill timing. The numbers of COVID cases are increasing. When it is pointed out to them that COVID is a serious threat to the Padayatra and to the people of Bangalore and the Karnataka, Mr. DK Shivakumar brazenly says there is no COVID, it is BJP COVID. When we appealed for vaccination, they said it is BJP vaccine. So strange is they are playing with the life of the people and they are taking the pandemic very lightly. Thousands of people have gathered there and they will be traveling to Bangalore by foot for the next 10 days. Mr. DK Shivakumar, I did not see right from the morning once wearing a mask while walking or while speaking also. So he himself is leading the pack with the defying the government order, and Mr. Siddaramaiah halfway through he has already gone back to Bangalore, and whoever is participating, no mask. Aishwarya Madhavan is lying brazenly saying all the parameters have been observed. Where have they observed? We can clearly see nobody is wearing mask, so much of crowd, no
let's get our viewers those visuals. If we can bring in the visuals from the Padayatra this morning, this afternoon when it kicked off. We also understand that
one more thing.
Siddaramaiah, the former Chief Minister, had fever. He had to return back. It could be because of a booster dose he took yesterday. But these are situations that are unavoidable. Maybe Siddaramaiah took a booster dose, but you have several other people who you may not know what kind of, if they have COVID or not. You're not obviously looking at a negative RT-PCR report from people who want to join in that rally. So there's no way that you can stop and restrict people from intermingling. And if there is a potential infection scare, you can't stop it from really spreading. If in case there are positive people who are interacting with those who are not, this is a COVID hotspot. It's inevitable that you will be bringing the infection and spreading it through that entire stretch from Mekedatu to Bengaluru. But I'd like to ask you, S. Prakash, as much as we see the Congress carrying out such a massive rally, brazen in the face of the COVID protocols, we understand that the MLC oath-taking ceremony also had as many people. You had huge crowds despite COVID restrictions that were put in place. Your own government.
No, it is all the party newly elected MLCs. They have come with their supporters. Then the government has accepted that should not have happened. Here in the Padyatra, they have not even insisted for double dose vaccination of those who are participating. No norms at all, and they are going ahead with the Padyatra despite the appeal. The general public are suffering due to the weekend curfew, and they are observing the government guidelines. And does it not applicable to the Congress party? Nobody is against any agitation by the opposition party. It is their right. They have every right to hold agitation and raise issues. But is this the time when the numbers are going up? Should they not behave in a more responsible way? Should they not at least care for the people whom they say the people of Bangalore will be without water? And without water, we will be left with without life if your Padayatra spreads COVID in the coming days to the city and to the state. Should they not care about it? And Mr. D.K. Shivakumar so brazenly said there is no COVID. Then Maharashtra is imposing restriction where 20,000 cases are being reported. Today it has reported 20,000 cases. Delhi is reporting 22,000 cases.
Bangalore has reported 9,000. The country has seen 1.5 lakh COVID cases in the last 24 hours. 340 odd deaths have been reported in India. At a time like this, it's not funny to be holding such a massive rally and expect that things will go well. You will be really, in fact, you can't really avoid a circumstance where COVID cases will come to a rise if at all your party workers mingle with those locals all along that stretch of Mekedatu to Bengaluru. You're really causing a real threat to people, those villagers who live in that vicinity, Aishwarya.
You know, the sense of responsibility or the standard of responsibility seems to be completely different for the BJP and the Congress. And let me tell you, Nabila, from having been at Sangama and Dodalnali, the villagers of this movement also, the majority of the people who have turned up are the people here from Kanakpura and from Ramnagara and from these areas. One. Second thing is, you know, Mr. Prakash talks about how irresponsible we are. Sir, very simply, if you want to take action against us, please go right ahead. You do not know the internal protocols that my party had followed in terms of who would be attending, what is the method in which, whether it was accommodation or whether it was walking or even the path line. But please, sir, if you believe, you know, Mr. Bommai will say it's political, he will do all this, we will impose 144. He should have done it. We would have done it anyway, Nabila, because this is a point of desperation, because we have been begging for this project to be green-lighted for so long and the government refuses to listen. And the minute we decide that we will take it to the ground and take it to the people, they will give you all these justifications why they themselves have not even followed half the COVID norms. They have also had their own public events, like the recent one with where Mr. Ashwath Narayan made those abominable statements, and they've also continued to work. But then again, what they seem to do is they paint us as the villains in this situation, while they themselves have not been responsible. Sir, you really want to do something? Please send Mr.
Prakash, lead by example. That's the charge that the Congress puts against you. Lead by example. Your own government carrying out events, stage events. Very recently, we saw Ashwath Narayan, Basavaraj Bommai, etc. At a public platform where huge crowds had gathered. Why don't you lead by example?
No, government has stopped all those public functions after the weekend curfews is announced. In that program, even Congress leaders were present. Why did they present? They should have boycotted it. Why did they attend it? See, raising questions is very easy. Now the point is, we are not against the agitation the Congress party is undertaking. It is their right. I have said it repeatedly. But those people who are taking part in the agitation and the Padayatra, what is the guarantee they don't get infected with the COVID? Who is going to test them? And many who join or many who goes back to the village will be spreading that disease to others.
That's precisely what we're saying. Also. Now that we know that this is the situation,
and Congress refuses
to withdraw the agitation. They're going to still carry out the Padyatra no matter what you say. Will you take action? Mr. Prakash, is the BJP government, Basavaraj Bommai government, planning to take action against the protesters? Will they be detained? Is there any action that you intend to take in the coming days? They say that they will continue with their Padyatra for the next 6 days, 6 to 10 days.
The government, the home ministers have clearly said if there is a violation, if they break the law, government will definitely act. Police have been advised to take action against them. In the coming days, 1 or 2 days, if the numbers start coming out even from the Padyatra, certainly government will take a firm stand and ensure the health of the city and the health of those who are attending the Padyatra is safeguarded, and we will ensure the Padayatra will be brought to a halt if the numbers from the Padayatra also increase. It is for Mr. D.K. Shivakumar to decide whether he should put his own Karyakartas in danger, or he wants to continue his egoistic agitation only to prove that he is the leader in Karnataka, and he wants to show his show of strength to Mr. Siddaramaiah that he calls the shot and he will be the leader for the future.
Ego has pushed for you to carry out that Padayatra.
And people of Bangalore are the
if in case cases rise, Aishwarya, will the Congress take responsibility for it?
You know, Nabila, Mr. Prakash will call Shri D.K. Shivakumar egoistic, but what Mr. D.K. Shivakumar is doing is fighting for the rights of lakhs and lakhs of people while the BJP government refuses to do so. Call me brazen, call me defiant if my party...
What were you doing for 55 years? You were in the power. Where was that? He was
all right, let's not get there, but Aishwarya, you're still going to be carrying out your Padayatra, it appears, for the next 10 days, and it doesn't seem like the Bommai government has so far decided to act on it. Politics that's brewing over the Mekedatu project. We see D.K. Shivakumar carrying out a massive rally amid the COVID scare. What happens next? We're going to continue reporting on that. For further updates, you could log on to indiatoday.in. You could also download our app. I thank my panelists for joining us. Thank you for watching.